Hello, and welcome back. In this episode or this video of the series, we're going to go over how to manage the notes of your files, create checklists, create tasks, and so on. So we'll click into a file here, and you'll notice there's all the tabs along the top. First, let's cover the Advisors tab. So this is very important if you are working with a team. If you have multiple users on the platform, you can assign other people to the file. And what that's going to do is it's going to make the file visible in their pipeline as well. Not only that, but it's going to display your assistant or your underwriter or whoever you're assigning in the client's portal in the Your Team section, so they know exactly who they're dealing with. But you can also assign a realtor and a lawyer to the file in the section or any other partner categories that you have added. This can be very helpful for tracking the volume you do with certain realtors and certain lawyers, as well as sending them updates throughout the process. So that's the Advisors tab. The Notes tab is where you're going to write your file notes. You can click Add Note up here, give it a title, give it some content, and if you click At, it's actually going to give you a drop down of all the users on your platform. So what that's going to do is if you tag a user, not only is it going to save the note, but it's going to send that user an email with the full note linking back to this file. So very easy to tag team members in and out. You can give the notes colors, and you can also rearrange their priority once they're published. You can move them between each other. You can also attach documents to notes. This can be very handy if you have screenshots of text or whatever for team members you want to add to that note. You can attach the documents. You can also have note templates that you build out through your template section, so that way you don't have to keep rewriting notes every single time, or you can even use your email templates that you already have saved. Moving on to the Checklist tab. Checklists can be very, very helpful, especially for quality assurance. For instance, the way I use checklists is every single time I move my file to the stage that is reviewing before pre-approved, there's a checklist that basically tells me to check a bunch of things in my application software. Make sure I use the proper qualifying rate. Make sure I checked off that it's insured if it is. Make sure I'm including the taxes and heat of non-subject properties. Make sure I'm using 3% of the balances of credit cards. All those things can be listed out as items in a checklist. That way you never miss anything. So what you're going to do is go into the settings. There's a tab that says checklists, and you can create your checklist here. So you go create checklist. Maybe you have a quality assurance checklist. And what you're going to do is click auto attach to files when they reach a specific stage. Now, when that file reaches under review, it's going to generate that checklist, and you know that you go through that checklist before you actually pre-approve the file. You can even make it so it only attaches for certain team members, but in this case, it does not matter. We only have one member on this account. And you can actually make it a requirement for the file to be allowed to move through the process. So in order to add the items, we're going to click Add Item. We're going to add a bunch. We're going to say verify qualifying rate was used. We don't need descriptions for these. We're going to say ensure mortgage default insurance was included, and you get the gist. So once you have that checklist built out, you'll go Save Template. And now when we go to that file, I'm going to move one of these to under Review. When I click into it, now it's going to have that checklist, the quality assurance checklist, which then we can go through and we can check off the items one by one. So very easy to make sure that you're doing everything that you should be doing on a file. Another very good use case for this checklist is when you get a conditional approval. Because what you would do is have it so that when you move it to conditionally approved, it automatically generates a checklist that says send signing package out, verify appraisal isn't needed. But what you also do is you add an item individually for every single condition that's still outstanding. And what that's going to do for you is let you know, okay, exactly how much you have left and what you still need to gather. And as you start to get them, you can just mark them off one by one. It's a very efficient way for not only you, but anyone on your team to know what's going on and what's still left on the file. So very, very helpful is using checklists. Now, a lot of people mistake this for tasks, and I'm going to go over the to-do tab over here. So tasks are more so one-off situations. Follow up with this person, submit this for a rate hold, or whatever it might be. That's what you would typically create a task for. So if you go create task, you can type it out here, give it a description, assign it to whoever's on your account, and then you can also give it a due date. If you go create task, now there's that due. You'll also notice in the pipeline, when there's a task due, it's going to put an orange banner at the bottom of the card, so you know exactly what files need attention. Okay, so those tasks, to mark them off, you simply click the button over here, and it'll mark it as complete. It's also important to know that you have a global task page. So if I create a task for this file, say file 1, just to make this demonstration work, and then I'm going to click into a different file. Test file 2. Now, if we go into this to-do tab on the side, not only is it going to show the tasks that are due for the one file, but it's going to show it for both files. And this is very helpful because you can either look at it in a card view or a list format, but instead of having to click into every individual file, you could essentially just work out of your to-do page every single day. Now, another way to create tasks would be through automations. So if you want a task to get automatically created when it reaches a certain stage, you go create workflow, add a trigger. You can do pipeline stage change or select from the other triggers. We'll go when it moves from collecting documents to under review, we'll create a task that says this and has this description. You can even assign it to a specific person or add a due date. So that's how you would create automated tasks, but for the most part, tasks can be created manually as well, and that's typically the best way to do it. You talk to a client on the phone, they say they're not going to give you documents by next Monday, we'll go in and create a task to follow up on Tuesday if you don't get it. So tasks are very handy to stay on top of everything, and you can always view them in the global to-do tab. Now, the last thing I want to go over in this video specifically is going to be your compliance. So just because we're going through kind of all the tabs one by one, the compliance is an easy way where you can gather all the documents that this client's ever submitted. Obviously, in this situation, they've only submitted one. But if you had 20 or 30 different documents, you can reorganize them here and then compress and merge them into one PDF to then submit with your compliance. So obviously, if we're doing document collection on Broki, we got to get some way to make it easy to bring those files over to Velocity or Finmo at the end of the day. So this is our way to help you package that up. Or you can simply just select all of them and export them in a zip folder. Either way works. So thanks for watching this video. In the next video, we're going to cover outlining your pre-approvals to clients and how to present those to clients directly through the system and add it into their portal. So be sure to watch that one, and hopefully this one helped out as well.